Hi, everyone. This is Gary Kay, and you are watching a video version of my Rants and Raves podcast. And I am excited today to be starting our countdown towards InfoComm officially, as we are joined by the head of marketing, Joan Vandermeet of Logitech. Hey, Joan, how are you?
Hi, Gary. I'm great.
I am excited to be joined by you today because you're going to debut a new product for us here on our Rants and Raves, and it's called MeetUp. And just what I know about it is a 4K camera designed specifically for huddle rooms. And of course, that's a big space. It's sort of a new, not new, but new for AV, I think, because we haven't had a lot of products that actually specifically accommodated the huddle room. And this product is a great example of a product that was specifically built for small rooms. So tell us about MeetUp.
Yeah, so this is it. I've got it right here in front of me. And typically what's happened in huddle room spaces and very small conference rooms is people have tried to put gear that's designed for larger rooms and just sort of, either strip it down to fit a smaller space, or we've also got people that will do things like just put a webcam on top of the screen and try and up level a personal device into a group device. And neither approach really works. The large room systems don't really scale down to be appropriate for a small room, and the personal devices don't really accommodate a huddle space. So we've designed this product from the ground up to be perfect for a huddle room. And a couple things to note about it is it's got a super wide field of view. It's got a 120-degree field of view, which is important in a small room because people tend to sit very close to the screen in a huddle space because the rooms are so small. So in contrast to a traditional long conference room that may have a big long table, like the room I'm in fact, a huddle room tends to be very shallow, and from the perspective of the camera, it tends to be very wide because people are sitting very close to the camera, and therefore you need a wider angle to get them in the frame.
Yeah, that's important because you're right. As you see these huddle spaces take shape, people are sitting right up against the wall, which in a lot of cases has a monitor mounted on it, or potentially a projector, an interactive projector screen, or an interactive collaboration board, or something like that. And even though some of them have cameras built into them, they're cheap webcam type products that are sort of pull that center. So if you're sitting on the outside out here, then you're not even being seen. So this has 120-degree viewing angle, correct?
Yes, it does. So allows you to have a very wide angle view, and then the camera also does have an additional pan, a mechanical pan, so you can add another 50 degrees with the mechanical pan. So the total view of the room is 170 degrees. So you almost have a complete, flat view of the room.
But it's 4K resolution, which is great because most of the collaboration boards are in fact 4K resolution. So not only are you going to be able to see everything in native resolution, but you're going to be able to send your content in native resolution as well. I don't know that there is another 4K USB web-based camera like this. Is there?
Actually, there is. We have another one. So we actually introduced in February the world's first 4K webcam. It's called Brio. It's actually a webcam, so a traditional camera meant for personal use on top of a desktop or notebook computer. But Brio, of course, is a personal device, not a room device, right. And is really aimed at the 4K streaming and recording market, as well as people who want to use an ultra high def webcam for video conferencing. This camera is a 4K camera, has a 13 megapixel sensor. So it does do 4K video conferencing. To be honest, not many people really want to do a 4K video conference.
Yeah, a lot of bandwidth.
But one thing this camera does give you, because it's got that 13 megapixel sensor, if you zoom in, and it does have 5x zoom, at 1080p, you can zoom in 5 times and have no loss of pixels. So for instance, if I was using this camera and there was a whiteboard way in the back of the room and someone was whiteboarding and I wanted to zoom in so I could get a close-up of what they were writing on the board, I could do that and not lose any pixels, even at 1080p.
Okay, so that is actually the product sitting in front of you, and I've got a little bit of preliminary information on it early from you, and that is, one of them is that it's about $900 list in the U.S., about 1,100 euro. It's going to start shipping. When will the product start shipping?
Mid-July. So it will be available in channels in Western Europe and North America on July 20th. And it'll be available in the rest of the world by end of July.
And what about the audio portion? Tell me a little bit about that.
The audio actually may even be superior to the video design. We have designed the audio from the ground up and built it specifically for small spaces. And again, a traditional large conference room, you want a speakerphone like this. This is our group, a system that I'm on for this room because it accommodates a large room like this. Mm-hmm. And in a large room, you want 360-degree audio because people could be all around this room. But in a huddle space where they're very small spaces and the tables are typically shoved up against the screen, you really only need audio at the front of the room because everyone's going to be within range of the microphone. So this is optimized for people within 8 feet of the microphone. And we have 3 beamforming mics, which are all going to be aimed out towards the room. Okay. The speaker is also integrated into the sound bar here. And again, the sound is going to be coming from the front of the room. And if you think about it in a huddle space, you're going to be looking at the screen, you're going to be talking to someone like I'm talking to you. You expect the audio to come from person's, from where the person is. If this was a very small room and I had a speakerphone on the table, you are actually, when you're talking, might be coming in my right ear, not coming from the screen. So having the speaker on top of or below the screen mounted out at the front of the room, it's a more intuitive experience. Your voice comes from where I expect it to come from. And as I'm projecting my voice towards you, it's going to be picking up my voice.
So you just mentioned something interesting. You said it can be mounted above or below. Does it come with a mount or how does that work?
It does. So it can be mounted actually in 3 ways. So I'm showing it just as it comes out of the box. You can actually just set it on a shelf or on a credenza. So many people in huddle rooms will simply set it on a shelf underneath the screen. It can also be wall mounted, and a wall mount kit comes in the box with it. And to wall mount it, all you do, you see the little stand that it comes with. This stand is hinged. So to make it wall mounted, you simply hinge the stand and ta-da, it's now wall mountable. And then thirdly, there's an optional Visa mounting kit if you want to mount it directly to your flat screen TV screen using the Visa mount in the back of the screen. All TVs have them. And then you can mount that either above the screen or in some huddle rooms where the screens are high, you may want to mount it below the screen. So you're going to mount it underneath the screen using the Visa mount.
Right. And there's an inversion feature, obviously, when you're doing that?
Actually, depending on the way you place the stand is going to be where how you mount the camera. So, it can go either way.
Okay, all right. And then what about the remote? It looks like there's a remote on the table.
There is a remote. So the remote is also kind of new. Most remotes, like this one, are infrared, and you have to aim them. So you pick, if you're used to using video conferencing, you're used to picking up the remote and aiming at the camera and changing the camera. This remote actually is radio frequency. It's not infrared, which is why we've made it more of a touchpad. And again, remember, huddle room tables are very small. In some huddle rooms, the tables may literally just be like a highboy cafe type table, one of those round highboy tables that people sit around on stools. So the space is very small. So what we've done is make this so it will just sit on top of the table and you can just use it as a touch pad. You don't have to pick it up and aim it. So it can just be set directly on the table. We have also come out with an app that basically replicates the remote control features in an app available for Google, for Android on the Google Store, and available for iOS on the Apple Store. It's a free download. We don't charge for it. So if you lose this remote, or if you just don't like having a physical remote in the room, you can just download the app, and then you can use your smartphone or tablet. You pair it with the camera. The camera does have Bluetooth. So you just come in, pair your mobile device with the camera, and then you can just use your mobile device as your remote control.
So this will be launched officially at InfoComm booth 2681. It's called the MeetUp. It's a 4K native camera, basically has a 13 megapixel sensor in it. 120. The key thing is 120 degree field of view, beamforming array microphone, which means that you're going to hear people where they're sitting. So theoretically, I guess another way to explain it is if your eyes were closed and someone's sitting on the left side, you're going to hear the audio come from the left side. If someone's sitting on the right side, you're going to hear them coming from the right side in a way, because you're going to be able to tell where they're sitting rather than all the audio coming from one side or the other based on where the microphone is placed on the table. Or it's going to at least fill the space so that you're not hearing it from one side or the other, I guess is probably a better way of explaining it. $899 US. €1,099.
Yep.
It's going to deliver mid-July, right?
Yep.
Did I get that right?
Yep.
Okay. USB connection, so it's real easy. Audio and video connect. Comes with a mounting kit, or of course you can just set it on a table. And by the way, one of the most popular questions I get, I've been doing these video casts and podcasts for 4 or 5 years now, is what headset are you using, Gary? Because it always sounds so awesome. So just in case you were wondering, use your headset, and I've enjoyed it immensely, and we're big fans of what you guys have done. So I'm excited about the MeetUp product, and I'm excited to see it at InfoComm.
Great. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Joan. I appreciate you joining me today. And of course, I appreciate you guys watching my Rants and Raves podcast. And don't forget to stop by booth 2681. That's the Logitech booth at InfoComm this year. And of course, if you want to find out more information, you can go to ravepubs.com/InfoComm2017, or of course, you can go directly to their product page at Logitech.com. Thank you.